the recording link will be shared in the WhatsApp group. If you have any questions, please, I would want us to drop your questions. Even while the session is going on, please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box. I'll also be sharing the YouTube channel link so you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Whenever you have, when we have these sessions uploaded, you get notified immediately. So thank you all once again for joining in. And Adekunle, you can please introduce yourself before you start the session for today.
All right. Thank you so much, Rafia. And good morning, good night
Oh,
from wherever you joined us
imagine
from.
I did not start the recording.
It started already.
Okay,
I
okay,
just started it.
okay, okay. Thank you, thank you.
All right. So just as Rafia has mentioned, my name is Adekunle Sarumi. I'm actually a certified trainer as well, skilled in Microsoft 365 administration, security, as well as compliance. And then I also happen to be a part of the M365 community at. So I just want to dive straight into the session. But before I proceed, I just want to ask, I think I'm seeing some new faces here because just as she has rightly mentioned, this session or this series has been going on for a while. So if you've been a part of this series over time, say you've attended the first, second, or third one, can you just maybe raise your hand or just drop a reaction so I can see if I still have some of my people on this call? But notwithstanding, I'll probably just do a rundown of what we've been up to. Okay, I can see Ayo. Yeah, I remember you, Ayo. You're welcome. I see Kinsley. I think Solomon. Yes, you guys are welcome. Wells, yeah. Peter. All right. Thank you guys. And for the guys that are just joining us, you're welcome as well. I'll be sharing my screen very quickly. So please just let me know when you can see my screen. So can you see my screen? Can I get confirmation if you can see my screen?
Can see your screen.
All right. Thank you, Kechuku. Okay, I should share. All right. So can you see? I have the application management on the screen. So just a quick introduction. I would say like a revision. So the deep dive series actually focuses on Microsoft Intune, and we've had several classes before now. So I'll just do, as you can see on the screen, you have week 6. So it invariably means we've done probably week 1 to 5. So I'll just do a quick rundown of what we've been up to in week 1 to 5. And deceived by the weeks. It's actually not preceding as you would assume. We've always done this bi-weekly, and then some other times we've had some reasons not to hold the class and everything. But we are currently where we are, and I think we're moving at a good pace. So in the first week, we looked at introduction to Intune and the environment setup. So in that class, I think we spoke about Intune, what it is, what it means. Intune is basically Microsoft's endpoint management tool. So if you are familiar with the Microsoft enterprise ecosystem, you would know that there is actually a tool that actually suffices for every problem, every challenge you might be facing as an enterprise or as a business. So when it devices, Windows, iOS, Mac, whatever devices you are using in your organization, how do you manage them? So that's where Microsoft Intune comes in. So in that class, we spoke about Microsoft Intune, the introduction, and how you can set up an environment. Then in the next class, which was week 2, we looked at the Entra ID integration. So Entra ID is also part of the Microsoft ecosystem, and it speaks to your identity management. So as Intune manages devices, Entra ID manages your identity. And by identity, I mean the users. So for current tenants we are using as the Nigerian M365 community is a tenant. We have identities, myself, Rafia, and a few other mentors on that. We also have devices. For those that have registered devices, we have devices in Intune and the like. So we spoke about how these two integrate and how you can also enroll devices. Then in the next week, which was the week 3, we looked at the Windows device provisioning. We spoke about Autopilot. And then Autopilot is a very interesting topic because it's one topic that's actually or it's one product, I would say, that helped admins time in how to provision systems. It just takes you away from the traditional way of provisioning your systems to a more automated and scripted way, where you just run scripts or do some things, get hashes, and then you deploy systems. I know I might be saying some things you don't understand, but all the sessions are recorded, so you can always go back to watch them to get more understanding. I'm just touching on them. Then in the following week, we looked at the device configuration profiles. So for device configuration profiles, it includes the settings that you use to configure the devices. So you want your device to have this particular set pane, you want to enforce settings, you want to block starts menu, for example. You don't want users to have access to settings, to control panel and everything. Those are all device configuration profiles that could be created. Then in the week 5, which was the last class we had, we looked at compliance policies and conditional access. So compliance policies are also policies that you want your device to live by. And then conditional access policies are authorizations you set. So this and more is what we talked about. But I would advise, if you are just joining today, it would actually be expedient that you go back to the YouTube channel, which as we go on, and then you can understand better. They are very, very nice sessions. I'm sure you find them engaging as we go on. So that's been our history up to now. So we are going to be looking at application management, and I'll try as much to make this very engaging. As I've said, we'll just be having a few slides to look at, and then we'll go straight into the tenant to test some of what I've said. I like to be very practical. I enjoy being more practical than talking. I'm sorry, but I just like to be more hands-on. So let's look at application management. Okay, so I'm also known as Zero Trust Bro. I'm sure you must have seen this on my screen. It's just my AKA. You can also call me Zero Trust Bro. I like Zero Trust infrastructure. So we are looking at application management. Application management, what it means, deploy applications with Microsoft Intune. So I'll be speaking to us as though we are all M365 admins. I'm assuming, and even if you're not, you probably be sometime. How do you manage applications? Or maybe I should even ask as the first question, if you are as a Microsoft 365 admin, how do you manage applications in your enterprise? Do you install on a per user basis, or do you have a central store where you direct users to download applications from? Or is there anyone that maybe wants to share in 1 or 2 minutes how you manage applications within your organization? So I think I'm monitoring the Teams window. I can see that on my other screen. If there's anyone that wants to speak. If there's no one, it's fine. I can just proceed. Kingsley, I see you still have your hands raised. I think it was from the previous time when I asked for opinions. Okay, so I'll just proceed. I think there's no one yet. So over time, admins would deploy applications by I just remember the funny scenario, but I won't say it yet. I'll say it maybe when we're into the slide. By installing applications over USB sticks or something, or having to do a manual approach where you go to the user and then get to the website, install the application, those kind of applications. But with Microsoft Intune, the feature known as the application management allows you as the administrator to be able to determine applications that would be deployed to your users' endpoint. Endpoint includes devices, and devices with Windows, Mac OS, iOS. Though we are actually looking at Windows more, because what we'll be testing will be the Windows devices. But application management in its entirety in Intune allows you to manage the addition, the deploying, the retirement of applications in your users' devices with Microsoft Intune. So let's go straight into the slide. So the agenda, don't mind this. We're going to look at the Intune app management and overview, the supported types, Microsoft Store apps, line of business, web apps, how to add an app. We're going to see it's a walkthrough, and we're going to do that same walkthrough in the hands-on session. Then the Microsoft 365 apps deployment via Intune. We'll also talk about the Office customization tool. Many of us are familiar with this. This has been before, and it's something that I think we can also explore. We'll see it. Then we'll talk about the app protection policies. What's app protection versus app deployment? We'll look at app lifecycle management. How do you manage applications from the day they were tired or the day users doesn't need them anymore? Then we'll also look at key takeaways and a preview into our next week session, which is in 2 weeks. So an overview of Intune app management. There are 5 core capabilities for managing applications across your organization. First off is how to add them. So as an admin, you'll be posed with the task of adding applications to your organization to make it available for your users, right? And then you can onboard applications from multiple sources. Some of them we could already see from the agenda. We have Windows 32 apps. We'll still talk about them anyways. We have line of business apps, web links, for example, organizations that are very heavy on the intranet sites. This easily accessible for users. You can actually package those and make it as an application ready on the start menu for users to just access. That would also test if there's time. We'll see how those can be created. So the first capability is how to add. As an admin, you want to be able to add applications. Then next, you also want to be able to configure. And by configuring, you want to set policies, maybe like VPN policies, email settings, the kind of applications. You want to set update policies and the like. So you have to configure applications. So after adding it, what you want to think about as well is the configuration. So you're not just adding and letting it go. You have to configure as well. Then next, you're thinking of how to deploy it. So how do I assign these apps to users? And with Intune, from our previous classes, you would see that deployment is like the littlest thing to think about when it comes to Intune. The most thing you want to think about is even the policies or the profiles, the settings. When it comes to deploying, it's actually easy peasy. But it's just that you're actually deploying to either all users, all devices, or a selected group. You can't deploy to just a user. Intune deployment works with security groups. If you are not familiar with security groups, these are a type of groups in M365 that are used for assignments and deployment. Basically, you can go back to our videos, you get more understanding. So with deployments, you just have to assign the applications to the users. So for example, in an organization where you want to maybe deploy, say, Notepad, you want to deploy Google Chrome, you might not necessarily have to deploy it for all the users. In that case, when you are trying to deploy the app, you don't have to select all users. You can create a security group and just say, okay, Google Chrome users or Google users, application users or something. Put in the devices you want there or the users. I think I should also speak on that. For the security group, you can either have a device security group or a user security group, whatever you push to, depending on how you want the assignment to be. So that's how you can deploy. Then there is also the feature known as the required, available, and uninstall. This I would want us to remember because this is something that has troubled some admins over time. So when deploying applications, you can decide the state you want it to be on the end user side. So for example, if I deploy, say, Chrome to my device that's been enrolled in Intune, if I set it as required, it means that that application must be installed at the next refresh cycle. So meaning that if that device is online, once I click on required and then I push the application to that user group that has the user or the device, at the next refresh or at the next time Intune syncs that device, the application must be installed because it's a required enforcement. If I select available, it means that the application becomes available for the user to be able to install through company portal app. The company portal app is Intune's management app available for users on any of their devices. So we have company portal on Windows, we have company portal for iOS, company portal for Android, and the likes. So if I create an application and I deploy it to a group of users and I say I want to make it available, it won't install the application. But if the users have the company app portal and go into it, they can see the application available for them to install themselves. So I think that already explains what required and available means. Required means it's an enforcement installation. That means it's admin control. It's already installed, whether you like it or not, you have the application. But if I make it available, you can decide as the user of that PC not to install the application, but it's available for you to always go and install. And then the uninstall action, which is you can actually deploy an app just because you want to uninstall it from a device. So maybe you realize the user has a Google Chrome version that you did not require as an organization. You can create the application and set it as uninstall. Once it runs and the device syncs, it's actually uninstall the ones on that device. This we can also test. I think we have a few VMs we can test just so you understand. So these are the methods of actually deploying applications with Microsoft Intune. Then next we look at protecting. So how do we protect? You can apply application protection policies to safeguard. So with protection, there's something or there's a setting known as the application protection policy. We'll see that. I think I'll just even explain that when we get to that slide. And then lastly, here we have updating. So how do you push updates? Do you push updates by asking users to go online to start updating applications? Or can you set supersedence? Supersedence in Intune is just a way of updating applications right from the Intune portal. So you can set a version and say when a new version is available by the Google Chrome, when they drop a new version, it can automatically update itself. Even the user doesn't have to start updating as much. So these are ways that you can update the action from the admin side to the user as well. So next, let's look at the next slide, which says the supported app types in Intune. So not all applications are supported in Intune, obviously, but the most applications, or I would say the common applications you would expect a Windows device to run is actually, or a Mac, iOS, or platform devices to run is actually available. So for example, let's look at Microsoft Store apps. So if you are familiar with Microsoft Store apps, it contains both regular Microsoft applications as well as other third-party applications that are actually listed in the store. Example is Company Portal, which would be pushing, and then Notepad would also push Notepad, and the platform is Windows. So these are supported when it comes to you can use Intune, meaning that you can use Intune to push this type of apps from the Microsoft Store to devices. Also, another supported app type is Windows 32 applications. So we have MSI apps, EXE, MXIX, which will be wrapped via Intune Windows application utilization. So what it means is there is a way you can actually package. I think we call it package applications, right? You can package applications with what you want and then wrap it up and also use that to push that same application to your users' devices. So we'll test this. We'll see how we can actually wrap an MSI into into Intune WinApp util application, which would then be onboarded into Intune. You might not understand now if you don't, but you'd see, because you can't naturally just upload an MSI into Intune. So if you have an MSI or an EXE, you've wrapped or you've packaged an application or something to use yourself, you would have to actually wrap it to make it this file format. So this format is the one that you can actually onboard into Intune and make available for your users. So we'll try this. We'll try the store apps. We'll try the Windows 32. We also have Microsoft 365 as very common. So all the Word, Excel, Outlook, Teams, what you get from your regular M365 applications can easily be pushed as an application to Windows and Mac OS. We have mobile store apps for the Android and iOS. You can push Google Play Store, Apple Play Store applications as well. Line of business apps. So this one is when you have heavily customized applications that you've built internally, line of business applications. You cannot them and also push them using Intune to all devices, all platforms. You can do this. And then the last one is the web apps and links. So this is the one I spoke about where you have intranet sites or portals that you want users to be able to easily click on their desktop or something. You can also package them and push it through Intune. So tell me, outside of this, which other type of application do you think your user would need that you can't easily just provide for them through Intune, rather than having to do a manual installation every time or trying to find the user or asking someone that is in Lagos to come to Abuja to get an application and the likes. So that's the essence of Intune. It's a cloud-based application that just makes the work easy. So next, let's look at the Microsoft Store and the Windows 32 apps. So in the Microsoft Store apps, what's the difference, or what's the big? It's the store integration. For example, this I'm trying to open my Microsoft Store. Yeah. So every application you can find here, every application you can find here in the Microsoft Store app is now made available to you to be able to push to your users in Intune. WhatsApp, all these ones, all these kind of applications, as long as they're available in the Microsoft Store, is now being integrated into Intune, and you can easily push these applications to your user. You can search directly, auto updates are managed. So just the way you install it manually from Intune, you can also manage the auto directly from the store. You don't need to package anything because these are already stored applications. It doesn't require any packaging. It supports Windows 32 Store apps, and it's a simple deployment. So one thing about planning app deployment as well is also to take an inventory of what you actually want to push. So you know the applications. There are some applications, if you ask me, you don't necessarily. For example, I can't want to push, say, Google Chrome and try to package it for maybe a small business. Depending on an enterprise, maybe you have specific channels you're looking at, you have specific languages you want to make available or something. Then you can start packaging. That's the whole essence of actually packaging an application, because you want it to be heavily customized or something. But if it's just to get a regular application from the store, with simple deployment, you can just post for this and then you'll see it. We'll see a list of all these applications when we get to the portal. And then next we have the Windows 32 applications. It's the most flexible app type in Intune. It requires an Intune Win package. So we'll see it. We'll convert either an exe file or an MSR file to .intune win and make it available and push it to devices. It also supports some commands, detection rules, dependencies, and set how you want the versions to be renewed, if you want it to be updated and the likes. Requirement rules as well. You can also set requirement rules right from the package, the OS version, the disk space, and everything. So that's the comparison within these two. Next, let's look at line of business and mobile store apps. So for line of business, it's custom in-house developed applications. Like I said, maybe you have some APK files, APPX files, MSI files as well that you've done by yourself. You can also onboard these applications into Intune and make them available for your users. And then we have the mobile store apps. Manage Google Play, Apple Store, VPP if you have bulk licensing with iOS. Silent install on supervised and managed devices, app configuration policies, Power App VPN support. All these are the features of the mobile store apps. And then lastly is the web apps and web links. So just as I said, creating shortcut. This one would even try. And I think a good scenario will be we'll package our YouTube channel. I think we can try that into an application and push to test. So let's see. This requires no installation, obviously, because it's going to be opening in the browser. It's a link. So it's ideal for SaaS applications, websites, supported on all types of devices because it's a URL, and also can be combined with conditional access for secure access. So how do we add an app to Intune? So let's just look at the steps. We're just talking through. We're going to walk through as well. So first, we navigate to Intune Admin Center, applications, all apps, you add it. Next step, you select the type. Are you trying to add a Windows 32 app, which is a regular Windows app, or a Microsoft 365 apps? The step 3, if it's a Windows 32 app, you have to select the Intune Win package, which is what you've actually optimized using the Intune prep tool. We'll see the contents prep tool, sorry, we'll see that. And then we can configure the office suites. So the configuration for office suites is where we look at the office customization tool, OCT. We'll talk about that as well. And then next, you configure the app information. So you can set the name, the description, publisher. You can decide to change the logo of your application if you don't want it to have the same logo as the brand that owns it or something. Then next, you set the program details. Are you installing, uninstalling, device restart behavior? Next step, you define the requirements. This is for Intune Win apps now, OS version, architecture, disk space. Then you configure detection rules, what you wanted to see, or if you have a custom script you want it to run before the uploads, you can set all this, and then you assign to your users, either required or available, which we spoke about earlier. So I want to quickly take us through the slide so we can get into the tenant. So Microsoft 365 apps deployment via Intune. First off, built-in type, which is this. We already looked at the 365 apps. We have Office CDN, which Intune handles the download from the Office CDN directly. This Office CDN speaks to the OCT, the customization tool, see it. We also have the multi-platform, automatic update, shared activation. You can use the shared activation, which is available for VDI or where you have multi-user environment. So if you have like a KMS server, you can also use that to activate most of your applications using this shared activation model. We have the OCT integration that I spoke about. So now this is the OCT. You can select apps. So this one, you can actually use it in cases where you don't want maybe some subset of users to have access to all the Office applications. Say, for example, you only want them to have access to Word and Excel. So you can customize the tool such that the only apps that will get installed will be, you're actually installing Office, but it's going to be only Word and Excel. They won't have Teams, they won't have Access, Publisher, or any other thing. You can also set the update channel, the architecture, 64 bits or 32 bits, depending on your organization requirements. You can. This is why I said it's heavily customizable for users that might be in a different region and want to set a different language directly from the admin side. Then you can set the licensing. So look at this in the hands-on. The next we want to look at is the app protection policies. So app protection policies is how you protect the data at the app level. So one thing about app protection is it doesn't require that you actually push the applications. So what I'm saying is what you're protecting now is the data on the application and not the application itself. Basically, you don't have to enroll the device. So app protection policy is best used for unmanaged devices or unmanaged applications. For example, I have my personal device, I access company data and everything. You you don't expect to manage my personal device, but it's an expectation that you manage the data that is running through that device because I'm actually accessing data. First off, you can't onboard my device or you can't enroll my device because it beats privacy, but you have the right to manage the data that's on the application that I'm using. So you can prevent copy and cuts, pasting of corporate data to personal apps. I don't know if some of you have noticed, maybe with organizations you work with where you can't copy stuff out of Teams into WhatsApp or even into Notepad. You would get a very, very funny long string of text like this. I don't know if any, but if you've noticed it, it's because you definitely have app protection policies going on for you. Or if you don't, it's because you can actually block users from copying. We've seen infiltrations where, did I say infiltrations? It's actually exfiltrations where users copy data out of company applications and then just take it to their personal applications, like moving something from Teams to WhatsApp or moving something from Teams to Telegram or something like that. If you have app protection policies in place, once the user copies, when you try to paste, it just pastes some lines of jargons for you that you can't even use, or you are not even able to copy in that instance. You can also require PIN, you can encrypt the corporate data, you can do selective wipe. So the case of selective wipe is if that person, you can just only wipe out of the application. So you don't need to wipe the device. I'm not managing your device. I can't wipe your device, but I can wipe my own application, my company application away from your device. Is someone trying to say something? I'm getting some feedback. Okay. So you can wipe the application and then give every other personal data, which the user can do on their own. Then it works on BYOD because that's the main essence of application protection policy. It's for BYOD basically. You don't need it for corporate devices. It's basically for personal devices and unmanaged devices, and it's supported on iOS, Android, and the likes. So let's see this next slide, which speaks to app protection and app deployment. So you need to understand when do you use each approach. So the purpose of the app protection policy APP is to protect the data within the applications. But the purpose of the app and remove applications. So you see that if you are trying to build out, say, a scope or what you're trying to determine how to manage applications. So you decide, are you just trying to protect data? If it's just protecting data, then you don't need to deploy the app. You just have to protect the data. Go through with the protection policy. But if you want to be able to install, remove the app, do things, manage the app fully, 100% on that device, then you know that you have to do app deployment. Next, enrollment required or not. For app protection, we already said it's not mobile application management. We spoke about mobile application management extensively in one of our classes, so you always go back to understand that. And then if it's for app deployment, yes, your device must be enrolled. So for everything we said in the previous slides for how to deploy, the device must be enrolled first in Intune. We'll see it, because you can't just push applications to devices that you're not managing. More like you're casting your net and then you're not catching anything. If your device is enrolled, obviously you can push applications to them. Then the scope of app protection policies when it comes to scope is data level controls, copy, cut, paste, pin. You can block all this. You can encrypt the data. But for app deployment, you're actually looking at the app level delivery and the entire lifecycle management. Then the use case for app protection policies for app deployment, we already know it's for corporate-owned devices, which involves full application management. It means you're managing the device end-to-end. You're managing everything that you're putting on that device end-to-end. And then the key takeaways for app protection, you're protecting the data, not the device. But for app deployment, you're managing the app on the device. Okay, so app lifecycle management, very quickly. What's the management of or the lifecycle of applications when it comes to the management? So we are deploy, monitor. So this is the entire lifecycle of every application you would be managing as an M365 admin or as an Intune admin in the enterprise. First off, deploy. You're assigning applications as required or available to the targets. You're going to see that. Then you monitor, you track installation status, failures. Sometimes installation will fail for many reasons, which you can always troubleshoot. And then device compliance. Then you're looking at the updates. So if you've been able to package your app and set, you can also, so this is something else I want to speak about. You can also add an app such that it replaces an old app. So you can, if maybe you're using an old version of an app, you can add a new one and then use that to replace the old one of the application. That's where you're replacing older app. Or you could just do some level of this supersedence. It just automatically updates, from the backend for the user. And lastly is the retire. So you change the assignment. So sometimes we have users that require time-bound access to applications. Maybe they are just they want to use VCO for a project, a 3-month project and everything. So you can set that, and then once they are done, you can easily remove them from the group, part of the assignment of the application, and remove it from the catalog. So quick information is that Windows 32 app supersedence allows automatic replacement of older versions with new ones, which keeps your fleet always up to date. So like I said, if you package an app, Windows 32 app, you can set the supersedence. For example, Google Enterprise app now, it should keep updating. The more Google release updates, the device would also pick it, and then it just keeps giving you the newer versions on your user devices. Okay, I think we've come to the end of the slide, which is, so key takeaways before we go into our walkthrough demo. Intune supports a wide range of apps types across Windows, iOS, Android. So even if you are not taking anything out of this short presentation, you should take this out. Windows 32 App Management provides the most flexibility, which comes with custom commands, detection rules, dependencies, supersedence. M365 apps have a dedicated streamlined deployment path with Office customization tool integration. App protection is not app deployment. You have to know when to use it. Bring your own device versus corporate owned. And lastly, this is very important. Always test app deployment in a pilot group before broad rollout. I don't think this is even overemphasized, because you don't want to cause a scene. Whenever you're testing app deployment, that's why you would find out that the assignment allows you to move to a group first. And most times when testing, we all know you obviously want to test to the pilot. So don't just onboard an application and then just push to everyone. You have to test with some people, get feedback, do some UAT. Once you've got a response from your UAT, you use that to improve the application, and then you do another testing your user. So that last line, if you're going to take anything out of this class, please ensure that you always test your app deployment in a pilot group before broad rollout. All right, so that's it for our slide. I'm going to be sharing a screen now that takes us to the portal so we can test. But while I'm at that, I don't know if there are any questions, so we can look at that before we share the screen. Any questions from anyone so far?
I think we have Ridwan's hand up. Ridwan, do you have a question? You can please unmute yourself and ask your question before Adekunle proceeds.
Okay, thank you very much, Adekunle and Rafia. Thank you for the presentation. So, can anyone hear me, please?
Yes, loud and clear.
Okay. Thank you. So, my own question is it possible to use this app deployment to deploy the latest versions of Windows OS on devices?
Okay, you are trying to use app deployment to deploy Windows OS. Well, so it's not so possible because there's actually a feature that allows you to manage update rings using Intune. And then I think I can just take you through. So if there's a feature for that, if you ask me, I don't think it will be very, very how do I put this now? You don't have to stress yourself trying to package Windows OS. I don't even see why you should package Windows OS. And that's because you can actually use the regular Windows updates to package either feature updates or quality updates and make them available for your Windows OSs as long as the devices you've enrolled. So trying to take us through that. This is the Windows update. So you use this to manage updates for the Windows that you have enrolled in Intune. So for example, you can set update rings. You can create an update ring and use it to track. And like I said, for tracking feature updates and tracking quality updates, you can actually create a profile and require this. You can use this instead. Like this is a better feature to achieve you've mentioned. So these are feature updates, update rings, even releases. You can actually target them to the users as they come. So this is a better feature than what you do. What you're talking about would not work, but with this, you will be able to update the Windows. But specifically, it's called app deployment because it's basically for the types of applications that I said are supported. Windows 32 apps, M365 apps, line of business app, web links, and the likes. I don't know if that answers your question. And I think someone actually raised their hands while I was speaking.
Thank you very much. Sorry, please,
right.
can we have access to the slides?
Sorry?
Like, can the slide
you?
be sent out to us? The slides, the presentation slides.
Okay, the slide
Is
is
it possible to
my
share?
IPO. Think about it. The slide is my IP, but I'll think about it. All right. Michael, yeah, I see you have your hands raised.
Hello, good evening, everyone. So
Yeah,
my question is, I just want some kind of clarification between Intune app deployment and management and registering an app on Azure app registration on Azure. What's the difference between them? When do you use which for what?
Wow, that's a very, very nice question. And I think I like that question. So yes, so the difference between Intune app deployment and Azure app registration, as you see, is the Intune app deployment is specifically for deployed applications, right? It means that you are making the applications available for devices that are enrolled in Intune or devices that have been onboarded in Intune by making them either required or available. But the Entra ID app registrations means that you are making applications available for users to use. Please don't mind my English. It means that if I register an application, for example, in Entra, I have to determine users that would access it. Most times when I even register applications, more of SaaS applications that maybe we accessed via a URL or applications that would have accessed via a link. Yeah. So when I make it available, I push it to the users, and then with some level of SAML authentication or SSO, users just have to sign into the application from a web browser or something. But the application deployment management in Intune is actually talking about deploying applications like standard applications, desktop applications as well, deploying them and managing them through the life cycle. So they might sound alike. I would even want to say what you would call the registration can like web links deployment. I can create an application, register it in Azure, make it available for some users. They go access it as they want from the URL. Also, if I register a web link using Intune, users just have to click on the applications that have been packaged, maybe from start menu or made available, and then it takes them to that URL in a browser. So it looks alike, but obviously there are different modes. So you can't say because that looks alike, they are the same. They are not the same, but they're actually different. They're actually different. What you have as Azure or Entra app registration is different from what you would get with Intune app deployment. Did you get that, Michael?
Yes, I got it. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. So, any more questions before we proceed? All right, so I'll just proceed quickly. So over time, we've had these test tenants we've been working with, which is the zero trust bro.com tenant, and then I have some very, very, I would say, sad news. The VMs we were working with, actually, my system crashed on me, and then I did not take a backup of those VMs and everything, so I had to restart or VMs. So that's why if I go into Intune now, you would find some very, very funny scenarios with the Windows devices because they've been recreated. And it's been a while, I think over a month. So you find that some of them, the last check-in still reads back to, this is March, May. So these three were actually decommissioned because I had to wipe my device where I had created the VMs. Like I said, we're actually working with two VMs. So yesterday I just had to spin up two other VMs and then onboard them into Intune with two users. So if you look at this ones, you would see that this is more updated. This checked in today and this checked in yesterday. So we'll be testing with these two devices. One is signed in with this account and the other with this account as well. So we'll be testing these two devices as we go on now. So let me take a quick refresh. The reason is because I've not put them in any, it's not compliant now because I think it's failing a compliance policy or because I've not put them in any compliance policy. But that's not even the essence of this. We are trying to push applications to it. So a quick discovery into this particular all apps, we can't see anything yet because nothing is actually on it. It's still base applications. While that is on, I think I should also just start both VMs so they start running in the background. Just a moment. Okay, So I have one of the VMs run. Probably start testing with that. So if you guys remember, I said we have to deploy to groups, right? We can't deploy to users or devices directly. So it has to be deployed to groups. So this is what I'm going to do. First off, I want to create a group. So in creating the group, it takes us to the groups portal, which you can either access directly from Intune. As you see, I just clicked on groups here, and then I have it from Intune. I could also access these groups directly from the Entra Admin Center. So let's create a group now. Call this. So the plan is to deploy Google Chrome. We're deploying Google Chrome company portal as well as Notepad, but with different types of deployments. So let's create a security group. It has to be a security group. You can't push to a Microsoft 365 group. So let's just call this first off Notepad users. Group for Notepad deployment. No one told me I had a wrong spelling there. Does it mean we're not following? All right. So membership is assigned because I'm going to add the users myself, and then I'll just add the members. So what I'll do is I would add the users now. I'm not adding the devices, right? So what it means is for every device the user has, they will get that same application. So let's add the users. I'll do Adekunle and Yakubu, manage, select, and then create. Okay, quick refresh. You should have that group. All right, so let's also create another group for the other ones. Say Google Chrome. Same users. And then lastly, would create company portal. Okay, so now we have our groups, right? So we have our groups, we can easily create the applications. So now we'll go back to Intune and close this. Can always be reopened if we need it. So first off, we want to add a regular application. So I can just click on apps on this side. Takes me to applications and then the platforms available. So you can manage Windows apps, iOS apps, macOS, Android in Intune. So we are looking at Windows, starting off with Windows. And if you look, we currently have some apps assigned. These are from some of our previous classes. We tested Adobe, Company Portal, and WhatsApp. But if you look at the Company Portal currently, I think it's pushed to a previous device. It's installed. So let's see, device install status shows this device. User install status shows Yakubu manage. So, but the group, so if you look at the group it was pushed to, so let me show you something. It's required, but it will push to Autopilot devices. But if I look at Autopilot devices, I want to see the type of users or devices in it, right? To be sure. So this is Autopilot devices. The members is a device, and it's one of the devices that we can't currently locate. So the thing is, if I decide to create a new application and push that same Autopilot device, because Yakubu is signed into this device doesn't mean his new device, because the assignment is only to the device. If this assignment was to Yakubu, immediately I created the VM yesterday, he would have picked it up, and then we'll probably have company portal on his device. But because it's specific to the member is device, it's not the user. So that's why. So that's why we created a group and called it company portal, because we want to use the user assignment this time, just to explain that. So let's go back to applications. We are going to create our own applications. So first off, we want to start with the application type. So when it comes to application type, this is a drop down of the types of applications. If you remember from our, please just guys, just a minute. Okay, can you hear me now? All right. So if you look at the application types, we have these different applications that you can actually use on the device. So first off, we have Microsoft Store applications. So you can pick applications from the store, which is what we spoke about. We also have Microsoft Store app legacy. This is not, you can't actually do this anymore. So everyone is being deferred back to the store app, which is the new one. You can also pick applications directly, which is Microsoft Edge. You can do Microsoft 365 apps. We saw that. You can also do web applications for Windows Web Link. Then we have the Web Links line of business app, Windows 32. So we'll look at everything now and test each of them one by one. So let's start off with the Microsoft Store app, new. So we want to find the store app. Click on select. So let's select the Microsoft Store app. Say, so we can, I think we can do Notepad. Yeah, Notepad, Windows, Notepad, Microsoft Corporation. Select this. All right. So these are the customizations you can do right from adding it. So if you want to change the name, description, publisher, the installation behavior, if you want it to be user or system installation, you can also set a category. Maybe you want to put it in a different category on your system tray. You can show this as a featured app, privacy link. If you want to add a view that you can also, these are actually, if you want to change the logo, if you don't want it to have the regular logo, you can also change it right from here. So I'll click on next. So now this is the assignment. You know, I said this is like the most easiest application addition type or deployment type. You just have to select the app and then push it. So we can either make it required, as we said, or we make it available for enrolled devices. So this one that is Notepad, I want to make it available. So I'll add a group and see for Notepad users. Make it available for them. So you already know what this means. It means that it won't install silently, but they can go into company portal to install it, right? So made it available, click on next, shows you this, you confirm, and then you create. Just very simple and short. You've been able to add one application, make it available for your users. So now when it comes to monitoring, you can monitor if it's installed, if it's not installed, if it failed, install pending, when it's, so give this time obviously for it to install. But the company portal, which is this one, I'm going to make it required. Okay, I can see a question. Rafia.
Yes, please. If you could just zoom, like make it zoom in.
Oh, I'm sorry
Yes.
guys. I'm actually using
Thank
a
you.
screen. Okay, is it better now?
I think it's better now. It is.
Okay.
It is.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
So yeah, so let me just quickly speak to the company portal. So like I said, for the company portal, because I've made it required before, so I'm just going to change the assignment. It's also a Windows store app. So I'll go to the assignment, edit this. I'm going to take out this group, and then I'll add the company portal group, which is this, and then I make it required, right? And then I save this, review and save. All right, so now this is active. We just have to give it time. So this is one of the VMs. We're currently signed in as Yakubu manager. See, I don't think we have Notepad yet. Okay, we have this, but let's even see if it installs it. Let me check for company portal, or I'll probably find something else we can do. Okay, so there's no company portal yet. And if you remember, we've made it required. So let's see how it installs company portal. Let's also add one more store app and make it available. Can you guys give me any example of a store app I can add? Anyone?
Zoom. Notepad plus
Zoom.
plus.
Notepad plus plus. Okay. My programmer guys like this a lot.
Adobe Reader.
Don't think is there. Okay, we already have Adobe Reader. I'm looking for something else, except I can just make that available. Okay, I think we already have Adobe Reader. We have Adobe Express. Let me make this available for that same group. So let's do properties, edit the properties, available, and then let's add the group we added for Notepad. Same group, select, and then review and save. All right. So now our expectation is in a few moments on this device, we would have company portal. And then when we go into company portal, we would see Adobe Reader available. Hi, Rafia. Still have your hands raised. Okay.
Thanks, Adekunle. So Mercy is asking, I think she wants you to show her if she has her own app that she wants to deploy through Intune, which of the options is she going to use from the options you listed?
Okay, great. So we are going to get, let's go back since we already see. So when you go to create and then the app type, so if it's your own app that you've built with your extension, you could add that using line of business application. So when you click on, okay, let me just answer it because I wanted us to get back there. So when you get to line of business application, you see you can use this to add a custom or in-house app as long as you have the application installation file. I click on select. You have to add your app package. So that application, you must either have packaged it as MSI, or if it's a Google application, you package it as .apk and everything. So once you add it here, if you want to test, this is my test tenant. If you have one, you can add it. I don't have anyone yet. You can add it and then we'll see if we can deploy it and test it. But when you have, or in the case where you have a custom application, this is how you can actually make it available on Intune for deployment using the line of business application deployment mode. So does that answer your question, Mercy? Okay. All right, great, thank you. Oh, and this is Mercy. Mercy, welcome. I remember you. All right, so let's go back to our application. So we've spoken about Microsoft Store app. We're waiting to see the magic that will happen behind the scene. I think I can just leave it here and just put it in the background. All right, so next, let's look at Microsoft Edge for Windows 10. So Microsoft Edge for Windows 10, okay. Something in me just said I should click on the legacy one, the Microsoft Store legacy. So it says open Microsoft Store to find add URL. Let me click on select, just so we see it. So this one, you have to add the name, you have to customize the description, you have to look for the App Store URL. So you see why this is legacy, because it's actually a stress. That means, for example, if I'm the one that's trying to deploy this and I want to push maybe WhatsApp, I have to go and get WhatsApp URL and then get all the information and then add them to this page before I can install it. It's legacy. So you see, it's even been a while I use this actually, because I don't have to stress myself. Everything I can do there can actually be done directly from the store app, which is the new one. Okay, so a question just came in real quick, I think from Moses. Sorry, the group you are deploying the apps to, is it user group or device group? Also, what's the point of any of the options? Okay, good question. So the group I'm using now is a user group. But you can as well use a device group. It doesn't matter. But I've seen cases where, and this is my opinion, device groups looks like it actually picks the policy faster than user groups. Like I said, it's my opinion. I don't think there's a documentation that actually supports that yet. If there is, you can let me know. But because the user would be signed to a device and then it's not tied to one device, that's why I'm using the user group actually, just so that we can see. So maybe there's another device somewhere that user is signed into, it will get on both devices. But the reason why administrators use device groups over user group, just as you've mentioned, is because sometimes as a user, even if I have say 2 or 3 devices, I might want this application on just one device. I don't want all the other devices. In that case, device group is more encouraged. But obviously, because this is just a test environment, I just put in a user and I know it's just one device they have. So that's why you find out most times. If I was doing this on a production tenant, I would obviously use a device group, because I'll be targeting the right devices I want the applications to be installed on, and not just the user. The user can be signed in maybe more than 4 devices. The perfect example is maybe like an admin that signed into 4 devices while testing. If I push to that user directly, or that same application. So that's just the distinction between them. It's not like one supersedes the other. It's just so that you can be able to bring more clarity to the application you are pushing and be able to target the exact device you want the application installed to. So that's my response to you, Moses. Let me know if it's clear. All right. Then next year, Microsoft Edge for Windows 10 and later. So Microsoft Edge for Windows 10, this is just pushing Microsoft Edge to the device. So you can push directly. Edge just gives you information on Edge and everything, category. I don't need to push this because obviously our device already has Edge. So I don't want to mess with that. Okay. So this is basically just Edge. You can also set settings for the Edge application. And if you ask me, because it's Microsoft, I'm sure that's why we have a special deployment for Microsoft Edge. So you can determine settings you want to push, as it's also a Microsoft product. So let's just go back real quick to Windows and then go back to our create. So back to our create, explored store app, explored store app legacy. We've also explored Microsoft Edge. Next we want to look at is the Microsoft 365 apps for Windows 10 and later. So this one helps you to just easily push the M365 apps. You don't have to select or anything. So let's see. But there's a caveat. It says users must have an account and license to use these applications. Okay, quick question from Emmanuel Adebayo. Following up on Messi's question, when do you use Intune Win to deploy app? Since LOB and Windows 32 accept application like EXE and MSI. Okay, so I'll differentiate the difference when you use the Intune Win and the LOB. Let me go back on step. So for Windows 32 applications, they are basically applications that are enterprise managed, and I would explain. For example, if you are trying to deploy, say, the Google Chrome on an enterprise level, you can use Intune Win because then you package that Google as though you are managing it, but obviously, it's still third party, right? You package it, you set dependencies, you set registries, you set supersedence, how you want it to be updated and everything, but knowing that it's a third party application. But in the case of LOB, this is specific for custom applications. So the difference, if you ask me, I would say use Intune Win for third-party enterprise apps. Use LOB for your custom applications, the ones you built in-house. Because with that, you can use the LOB basically to just push your regular Windows 32, or Intune Win for custom third-party applications as though. So that's just the basic difference between the two. Did you get that, Emmanuel?
Yes, thank you.
All right, great. Because we would even test, and my plan is even to test the same Google Chrome Enterprise. Actually, we'll try to package using Intune Win, and then I don't have an application I could do like LOB, or maybe we could even try to do that same Google application. But we don't have the package for Google application to put in the SMI. We'll just try with the one that will be downloaded anyways. Something we can look at. But if you ask me, my opinion is use Intune Win for third-party customizable applications and use LOB for in-house or your own customized applications. So that's that. Let's go back to the M365 apps. We are trying to add this. So let's add M365 apps. Windows M365 for Windows 10, shows you all this. You click on next logo. You can also configure the app suite. So this is where I said you can use the configuration designer. This version, what you see here, if you are familiar with OCT, Office Customization Tool, the same thing you would see. Yeah, config the office.com. How did I forget that? Oh, okay. So this is the office customization tool. You'd see you use this to customize applications and then export either to XML file to install in cases where you have MECM, SCCM kind of. So you see you can select the actual 64-bit, you can select the office suite you want to set up. If you want visual with it, if you want projects, additional products, you can always select all that. Let me just do this real quick and say apps for enterprise. If you go next, so yeah, you can, if you are customizing this software, you can remove access, you can remove Excel, you can remove everything you want to remove. This same feature, you can go next, select language. If you want to set, I want to set Dutch. You can also add additional languages and the likes. Then you can go to installation, how you want it to be installed, either from the content delivery network. This content delivery network is the same thing you get with this version. So this is the configuration of OCT. So the same thing you can do using the customization tool is now being imbibed in the Intune setup for M365 applications. So same way I can select 64 bits. I can select if I wanted to have the file format of either XML or regular document formats. I can set an update channel. Same thing you can do with your OCT. You can set either current channel or multi-enterprise. If you want to remove other versions that you would see on the device, you can say yes, version to select. You can specify, or you can allow it to take the latest version. Get computer activation, no, because this is a user activation, right? Using your license and your account to activate it. Accept the terms, install background, language, and the likes. You can go next. You can also configure the assignment. So this one now, let me even make this required for the Notepad group as well. Let's test this. Let's see, install Office. Yakubu is licensed, so you should be able to install that. Great. Let me confirm again. Yes, M365 So we would be able to install this, and then we have this going on for us. Next, let's look at the next one, which is WebLink. So Windows WebLink. So you can add the Windows web link, copy and paste the URL into application for Windows formats. This is when I say you can make it and add it to the start menu. So I think we can test with our what's it called? Our YouTube channel. Or is there any URL you guys want me to test with? Let's see. Okay, let's try. The name is Nigeria. No, it's not Niger. Nigeria M365 channel. This is from my typing. This is the official YouTube channel for the Nigerian M365 community. Okay, publisher name. Who should we say has published this? Rafia or MJ? How many of you guys know MJ? MJ is our founder and the proprietor of the M365 group. The app URL. Okay, let me go to the chat. I think I have the copy link. Category, I'm not setting this. Show this as a featured app. No. URL, image. Which image? Let me see if I can quickly trying to make this as customizable as possible. So I'll just take a quick snapshot of our logo. If you guys remember, I said I had to wipe this device so it's still very fresh. I don't have so much information on it yet. So save this. Bounce. Text. Screenshot. PNG. JPEG. Save. Okay, so let me see if I can add this logo. Stop. Okay. So the thing is, the Nigerian F5 community cannot sue me actually for doing this because I'm part of the community, but don't try this at home. Anyways, so next, I'll add the group. Also add to our Notepad users. Select. I want to make it required, right? Or should I make it available? What do you guys think? I'll just make it required. Okay, next, and then create this. Okay, so now we've been able to successfully add a web link and make it an application. All this still on our device, this guy. All right, so let's go to the next application type. The next one is the web link, same one as well as you know, but we already created one. I don't see any reason why I should create the other one. So I'll just skip this and let's go to the next one, which is a line of business application. So to add this, like I said, we don't have so much information to add this. I don't have anyone. If I could have installed one, I should. Well, what I think we can test now is this one, which is the Windows app, Windows 32. So how do we add Windows app? Select, we have to select an app package. So for the app package, we have to package our, I don't know, I don't like seeing this guy. We have to package our MSI application into what to call Intune Win format. So let's try that. Let me close this and say Intune Win file, just searching. Intune Win file. Okay, so prepare Windows 32 app to be uploaded. Yes, that's what I want to do. So before you can add a Windows 32 app, you must prepare the app by using the Microsoft Windows 32 Content Prep tool. So let's get that first. So it takes you basically to a GitHub repo, and this is our Intune Windows app executable. So I'll click on this. Let's see if I can get the raw file. If you want, you can go through the information. I'm sorry I skipped that. If you actually go back, there's a lot of information here you can digest. But I think I've installed the Windows app, which is this. I would run it, but I actually want to run with a couple of commands. So next up, we want to get an MSR file. You know, I said that for us to be able to use this, we need to have MSI or EXE. So I don't know if you're familiar with this. I've tried over time and I found that, okay, let me just give us a tool we can use. Let me see. Maybe we should even use this directly. There's several ways to actually get this done. Okay. Let's see. Where is the tool now? This is from Rink Toxma. Seems I know this guy. All right, but let me even get the MSR file first. I think I want to do Google Chrome, as I said earlier. So to get Google Chrome, we'll go to the Chrome Enterprise. Trying to remember that URL now. Let me just search Chrome Enterprise. Where is this Chrome Enterprise now? Okay. I think I can get it from this URL. Yeah. So let's download Chrome. So choose a stable channel. Bundle, yes. 64-bit. Accept and download. Yep. No now. Don't bring me here. I don't want to have to do this. Okay. So I'm going to create a folder. I'm just going to do one of the ways which I've done. Like I said, there are several ways of actually doing this, but I just want to do it in a very granular way using the command prompt. Let's open our guy. Okay, so it's actually been on my second screen. So this is the zip file, the configuration, documentation, as well as the installers. So this is what we want to get this particular MSI, right? So this, I'll probably create a folder for this on this PC. So let's call this Intune apps. Go to subfolder, call it Chrome. Like I said, this is granular. You may not have to do this all the way. And then okay, thanks Aquarium. This is what I was looking for. But I think we already also got it from this Google guys. Paste. All right. So move, which is the installer, to that same C. Okay, so clicking that actually takes me here. So this is our source folder. I hope we can still see all this. What have I done? Okay. Sorry guys, don't mind me. So this is the Intune app that we installed. Upon running it, it brings you this. So it's requesting for the source folder. And if you know, that's why I actually created this guy here. So we can use this link, right? So I can just copy this link and then paste it here. Setup file. I can also use our same link. Where is it now? This is our file. Let me copy this guy. Go to properties. Output folder. All right, let me create I'll just create an output folder. New folder, output. And do you want to specify catalog folder? Nope. So now it's packaging this into an Intune file. Let's see what just happened. That just shut down. Why? Must have been an error. Because if it was correct, we should have something in our output folder. So let's run it again. Source folder. What am I missing here now? Okay. Or did I not copy the right name? It's correct. I think what I'll do is just try to paste it in the same folder. Let's see. Yeah, so yeah, Emmanuel, the thing is the set of file is this application itself actually. I think it's wanting me to create it or add the entire let me see. There's something wrong here. Okay, let's try one more thing. Let me see if I can just run a command prompt directly as the entire part, right? Okay, that's something we've not tried. Let's see. Okay, let's run the entire part and see. Okay, first off, let's do this. Okay, think I understand why you might actually be asking for the entire part. It's not seeing it, but I already specified the C drive. I already specified the C drive, so it should use initiative now. All right, let's go. Okay, let's see now. Okay, still not seeing it. Again, output and Chrome. Okay, so this is Intune Windows app util being Intune Windows app util. What's going on here? Okay, like I said, let me try CMD. Okay, so what I'm avoiding is what I'm going to do. I have to type it one by one. Let's start again. Can you try copy as path? Yeah, so that's what I've been doing actually. It's just that it's not being responding as it should. Try it again. it doesn't go through this time, then definitely something wrong. Yes, this is what I'm trying to type out. Thanks, Moses. Intune win app. Okay. Let me take out of this. So we're asking you to go to C drive, look for this guy as the file, and put it in the output. Intune win app usually is not recognized as an external command. Oh. So we should go to the C drive, right? If I go into the C drive, I can find my C drive. Why is it not taking me to C drive? What's going on here? Yeah, the folder, the Intune win is, they are all in the same folder. That's why I put them there. I want to redirect this guy to this. CD. That's why I put them all in the same. Okay. All right. I think we are good to go. Thanks, Moses. Yes, so it was basically because we're not running from the same directory or this one. So even if I had done the same tool itself, we should have gotten what we're looking for. So yes, so we have our Intune win. Thank you guys. Thank you, Emmanuel, Moses, and Okwemi. Okay, Okwemi, why not just copy the part? We're actually doing the right thing, actually. It was just the directory. Okay, so now we have our Intune win file. I think we are good to go back to where we are coming from. So let's go to our app package, right? We're still on Windows 32. We select that package. I think we have it directly on the C drive. Intune apps, output. Yeah. So you would find that this is the only version you can actually upload as Windows 32. Okay. So it automatically gives you the platform, the version, and the size. Yeah, Moses, that's it. I think we got the same one. Can you see my screen, Moses?
Yes, sir. I can see your screen. Well done, sir.
Okay, yeah. It's the directory. All right, so this is the application. So you see that when we uploaded it, this is what we uploaded. And this is why I said this is the difference between using Windows 32 and using LOB applications, because this is obviously 30. So with this Google Chrome now, you can decide to change the name, you can change the description, you can set a preview, publisher. Let's even put Google there. Then we have the app version. If you want to set a category for it, like productivity, show this as a featured app, information, You can also choose a logo. For this Google, I think I want to choose a different logo, but let's just go next. So this is the installer type. So this is the part where you can now make the configurations for this Google Chrome. So we can choose either we want to install it through command line or through PowerShell script. But this one requires a custom script. Let's just go with command line. Install command. This command would be packaged with the application when it needs to run. So you're telling it MSI to be executed on this particular MSI file that we already converted. On installer line as well is there. Installation time required is 60 minutes. Allow Abu uninstall. So if you want users to uninstall this, you can select. If you don't want them to be able to uninstall, you can also say no. Install behavior is set up as system because this is an Intune win file. App install may force the device to start, Then you can also set up return code. So in case it doesn't install or post installation, you can change the code to what you want it to see and track. You can also add codes, but we are not touching that. So let's go next. Requirements, you can specify the requirements that devices must meet, check operating system, minimum operating system. If I only want this to install on Windows 11, let me see so that we don't lock ourselves out from this guy. Let's see what we have here. Should already have some apps installed here. Maybe a quick refresh then. Company portal is not installed yet. While this is going on, let's just do a quick sync. I wanted to check the version. Okay, so we have 22H2 installed on this. But let's do a quick sync. Should have picked up some of those what's it called now? Some of our applications. Sync, my friend. Okay. All right, just a moment. I think I have my phone in the other room. Okay, just took a quick stroll to get my device. Okay, so you should sync now and then pick up the other policies. So while that is running, let's go back to what we're doing. So you said 22H2. So if I reduce this now and say only 23H2, we'll definitely not get this application. Should we try? Let's see. No, let's just leave it to have 21H2. Okay, ticks required. If you want to set ticks requirement, CPU speed. So you can see the kind of customization you can do when it's to the Intune Win files, which is Windows 32, more like you are repackaging your device or repackaging your application, sorry. Let's go next. We can look at detection rules, manually configure detection rules. Let's see if there's anyone we can add here. MSI products, MSI version check. Okay, these are just regular rules. Is there any other one we can check? Registry rules. Okay, to check if it's in the right spot or not, or it has the key. Okay, so that this does not compound. Let me check this out. But all this you can set actually. Okay, it's asking for one, so let's just put this. Next, software dependencies. So if you want an application to be installed before this can be installed, that kind of dependency, maybe which one can I ask for now? Should we say there are no apps here? Google. Okay. But I don't think this app is even dependent. It's a standalone app, so that's why if it's one that looks like it's dependent, we would have other apps there, then superseded. So when you supersede an application, you can specify which has to be directly updated. So this is where I spoke about whenever this Google Chrome gets an update from Google themselves, you can actually decide to update or not on that. So this is supersedence. See if I can add something here because it's Google. I know some other applications actually have this app supersedence. Then we'll go next. So for the assignment, we also want to make this available and not required. So let's make it available for Google Chrome users. And that's it. So we create. All right. So basically, we've been able to set up all available app deployments as we can. So this says your app is not ready. If app is uploading, this will take some time. But obviously, we've already pushed it to the right users, and we'll just wait to see it available. So it's currently uploading. It's 140 MB. It might just be a few moments. But while that is running, I think we can see now what's going on with our device. So this was successfully synced about 4 minutes ago, according to the time on this device. So let's see if we can find some of the applications we pushed. Go to applications, installed apps. Okay. The one I'll be looking for, the one we made required is what I'm looking for, which is, I think, company portal. So let's see if we can find company portal. Looks like it's not here yet. Microsoft Intune management extension. Okay. Is it because I think because I just signed in, or it's just installing this extension, and this is what would actually assist our sync operations. So let's just give it some time. Let's see what goes on. Should have our applications coming in. Okay, go to the device on Intune and first sync. All right. Okay, we can try that too. Let's see, duplicate this tab. So let's go to devices. We're looking for Jacobo's device. Where is the last sync? It's this one. Even that sync has not been registered yet. Last check-in is still showing this. So let's sync and see. Okay, so we're just waiting for applications to show up. Intune says 8 hours, but then we found out over time that 18 minutes, it actually syncs policies almost immediately. Let me also share the device, and maybe I'll try to sign into that. This other one. Okay. This is still uploading. And we are waiting for our device. So while that is going, I don't know if you have any questions. I think we've overshoot our time while trying to get the Intune application package done. But if you have questions, you can ask questions. We'll probably just take maybe 5 more minutes, wait for this to pick up. And if it doesn't, we'll just follow through in the next class. So I don't know if there are any questions from anyone or contributions. All right. Can you guys see my screen? So company portal just got added. Yeah, Michael, you can ask a question.
Okay, so what I want to ask is actually not part of today's agenda, but I just want to ask if it's something you can touch briefly, or if not, maybe in another class. Now, talking of device enrollment, what are the ways exactly to enroll devices into Intune? It's being used in my organization, but centrally managed. So I don't get to interact with the platform or see how it is done. But I'm interested in.
All right, Michael, is this your first time joining this class? I shouldn't call it a class, this session.
Not the first time, but I've missed a couple due to work and light issues, and life issues too.
Okay. Yeah, I get. All right, so because the thing is, we had a session. I think it's second session where we spoke about device enrollment. We actually broke down all the types of enrollment method. So you can enroll using. We spoke about the work or school enrollment. We spoke about autopilot enrollment. We spoke about bulk enrollment. But like you said, if you go into it, it might take so much of our time. But I'll just advise if you can go to that our YouTube channel, you would find the session. I think it's the second one. Let me see if I can remember. Yeah, I think it was the second session. We spoke about autopilot and device enrollment. If you go through that video, you'll get the full information of how to enroll devices. I'm sure by the time you go through it, you will even understand how your devices were enrolled in your organization.
Oh, okay. I will do that then. I'll search for YouTube and go to it. Thank you. But then a follow-up question.
Okay.
Can I go ahead? Okay. So
yes,
in my
please,
organization too, we are current since last year. We've been trying to implement autopilots. They've been doing it centrally, and we are supposed to also do the same thing in Nigeria as well. But I particularly have refused to implement it to enroll any of our systems through autopilot.
Okay.
Because somebody in
Sorry.
2020. Okay, can I go on? Somebody in 2022, tried to do it centrally too, and then we tried to implement in our office in Nigeria. We tried to implement it, and it gave us a lot of problems, like systems getting stuck in the autopilot process. There was a system that took me almost like a whole week. The user of that system could not work for a whole week. So because of that experience back then in 2022, now that they're implementing it again, I refused to enroll any of our systems in Nigeria on Autopilot. And I was prepared, very prepared for questions from anybody, any management about it, about why I'm not doing it. I've been waiting from the headquarters in the US. I've been waiting for when they will call me and query me about it. So now, the reason even now, I tried it once on like 2 or 3 systems, just to see whether it has really improved. And I discovered that if you give me 50 systems to enroll using Autopilot, have applications and this and everything installed on it using Autopilot, and you give me the same system to configure, to set up applications and everything manually, I'll finish these 80 systems manually before 10 can get enrolled on Autopilot. It is so damn slow. So damn slow. You can be enrolling a system on Autopilot 1 hour, you're not yet done. The system is still, configuring, setting up network, installing applications, this one. For the next 1 hour, you're not done. Meanwhile, in that same 1 hour, I have manually set up, installed operating system, installed applications, installed Windows updates, installed a lot of things on more than 20 systems. In that 1 hour, I would have finished if I'm doing it manually. So because of that, I see absolutely no reason to implement the Autopilot, and I've been waiting for questions about it. Till now, I'm still waiting for anybody to come and question about it. So my question is, why is it why is Autopilot so slow? Is it because of our internet infrastructure here, which I know might be contributing, but I don't want to believe that's entirely the reason. So why is it always so slow to, have that kind of out of the box experience through Autopilot?
Okay. Well, first off, I want to say the scenario you painted is very, very, very common. And then I don't know. I think I would try to convince you and not to confuse you that Autopilot is still the way. And first off, so one thing I want to speak to first off is I think from your conversation you mentioned that you are doing it for a user and then it gets stuck. First off, Autopilot deployments is for like fresh systems. So if it's for a user that's already using a system, it's not advisable. Basically, you could just do like a workers code join for them and then let it get enrolled. So it's basically for like you also mentioned out of box, right? Yeah.
Yes, what we usually do is to get that kind of out of box experience, we format the system and install Windows 11 on it. Some of our systems are still on Windows 10. So part of the instruction for implementing the Autopilot process is to make sure that the system is on Windows 11 by formatting it. To give that kind of out of the box experience. Still, the so damn slow, like annoyingly slow.
Okay. So the thing is, first off, as you mentioned, Autopilot could be slow, maybe because of the level of heavy customizations you've added to it, though it's not actually a reason. And then one thing I also want to point out is you already said it could be the network infrastructure, because we've had cases where with better network, Autopilot is highly achievable on a very, very strong network. It doesn't take hours, even with a lot of packaging where you have applications, customizations, and everything. We've seen Autopilot. I have seen Autopilot run within minutes for a number of devices, as long as they are connected. So I'll tell you, Autopilot is the best too. Even though I know you said you did 10 about 20, I was just smiling while you were speaking. But bro, please don't do that to yourself. I would advise. It could maybe what you could just determine
This is the 2nd time experiencing it. First in 2022, it didn't work. Again in 2025, 2026, the experience is still the same. So for me, I don't know what is going to convince me, honestly.
Okay,
I
so
really don't know.
I wish I could take this up personally, but I don't know if I had the time. I would have wanted to review what you have on your settings to see what could actually be going on. It could even be a setting issue. Maybe there's a particular setting where in the process of maybe what you've selected in the process of the out-of-box experience, if something fails, you might have not set a timeout. If you set a timeout, it will automatically time out maybe after 60 minutes, you have to start it again. It could be that you didn't set a timeout session for that, and that's why it's taking weeks. Because obviously you're supposed to set a timeout. So maybe you didn't set a timeout or something. But like I said, it's something we could review. I hope I have a time, or maybe someone on the call, maybe other mentors, it's something we can take on as a side project and look into. But I tell you, I still evangelize Autopilot. I recommend Autopilot any time of the day because it's the best. It's actually the best. Thanks, Okwemi, for also corroborating, and then Messi. Autopilot is actually the best. If you taste it once and it works for you, bro, you won't go back to manual deployment. I can say that anywhere. But like I said,
Well,
you might just take a review of your
until I'm
current
convinced.
settings. There might be something missing in your configuration. I want to believe there's something missing in your configuration.
Yes, I agree
Well,
also.
I hope so. I hope so because as I think the process involves like 3 stages, setting up, configuring network, and installing apps. So that's installing apps parts usually is the part that stays so long. And there was one time I noticed the number of
installing
apps
apps
being installed. Yes. One time I noticed
yeah.
installing the number of apps being installed is about 14 apps. And these are generic apps, not heavy apps that require customization in the process of installing them. When you're installing apps, you select options where you want to store it, this one. These are generic apps that don't require that kind of customization during the installation process. So even though they are 14, but then I still feel it shouldn't make the whole process take that long. And I'm not the only one complaining about it. We have people in Senegal complaining about it. Our office in Senegal complaining about it. Office in Djibouti complaining about it. We have office in Cameroon and Niger complaining about it. Even in Ghana and Sierra Leone. So this we have a Teams group where everybody comes up with the issues they're facing about this thing. And almost every day, every week, I see people coming up with different complaints about it. So because of that, I've even stepped it down totally for Nigeria until all those complaints and everything from every mission are addressed, and I know there's a straight way forward.
Okay, so this is what we'll do, Michael. I think we should actually because I would have said we should look at it, but this is a session. I won't want you to start sharing PI and everything. So maybe let's connect outside of the call. We can also connect with some other. I think Sean is interested, Moses, and a few others. So just
Yes,
I strongly believe there's something wrong with your configuration. If not, it's Autopilot sweet.
I wish I can see what the person who is implementing it from HQ. I see what what options the person is selecting in the process. From Intune like we are doing right now.
Some of us here have done it over time. Okwemi has chilled Autopilot. I've done a lot of Autopilot configuration. I know some people I'm very sure Moses is also very good with Autopilot. I'm sure we can spot anything wrong there. But like I said, we can take it offline. Let's connect. LinkedIn, WhatsApp, anything. Let's connect and let's
no problem. I really need to learn more about it and see it work though. I really want to see it work because it will be a very good way to prepare systems, especially when you are preparing large number of systems.
Exactly.
You cannot want to prepare 1,000 systems, for example, and you sit with it for days or even weeks.
Exactly. So, you're right. You're right about that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Michael. Thanks for bringing that up. So we can connect, like I said, and let's see if it's something. We can even plan a session, like a brainstorming session, or just look at it together. Because I know there are some people that would also have, I think Sean also, and a few others. I know some people that are very, very good at Autopilot as well. We can look at it. And then we'll consider the network infrastructure as well. So that's something we can always look at. Thanks so much. Thanks, Michael. I really appreciate that question and contribution. So while we're at that, Intune was Intuning on his own with the system and see all the applications and everything that have been installed. We have the Office applications, everything currently installed. So let's look at what we have. I want to see all. So we have Access installed as part of Office, the company portal, Excel. We have the management extension. This is what was missing, why we didn't get that synced on time. Then we have our MP3 channel. I don't know why this is not showing our logo yet, but I'm sure maybe upon a restart it will show. We have OneNote, Outlook, PowerPoint, Publisher. All this we set up. Sticky Notes, which comes with Office 365, which one again? And then Word. All right, so I think if we go back, I think those are the ones we made required, right? We made company portal required. Let's just do a quick check. I can't remember now. We made company portal required. Yes. We also made MP5 apps required, which is why we see it. Oh, but that's a very funny thing. If you are saying it's the what you don't want to try SCCM, I bet you don't want to try SCCM. There's a reason why Microsoft came up with Autopilot to tackle SCCM. You don't want to try it. You will sleep there.
Exactly, you don't want to try, but in my organization, that's what we do. So at times it takes a lot of time to build. For at times it depends on company. So you just have to at times
I
you just
don't
have to
envy you,
follow
bro. I don't envy
company.
you and your organization. Yeah, that's true. That's SCCM even has deeper level of customization and everything. So I understand.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much, Okwemi. Okay, so which other one did we make? Okay, this one I think was also is available. So now let's go into the portal. So I said for the ones that are available, right? Users have to install them. And then if we go into company portal, so let me open up company portal and see if we have the apps available to install, right? It's going to ask me to sign in. I left my phone in the other room again. Okay, just a moment, guys. Okay, I'm back again. So let's see what's happening here. Okay. So it says recently published app. I thought we made some. This device already assigned to someone. Okay, so I think I see what's going on. I actually had signed into someone else on this device. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. I think I know what we can do. I'm going to sign out and sign in as the other account. I think the other account is this. So this device is actually this guy here. Where is it now? I think this is the one I provisioned for this account, Adekunle account, and then I signed in with YManage. So what it means is this is the device we are looking at, but yeah, primary user. Yeah, this is the device. It was enrolled by Adekunle, but it's currently being used by YManage. So that I can't get access to this. So let me see if I can sign out and then. Okay, so this is what I'll do. If I sign out here, let me see if I can sign in as Adekunle here. Okay, one more minute. Sign into no. Let's do just this app. Okay. Yeah. So, Makwemi, if I do that, I have to actually sync. Okay. I think I can try that too. But I want to happen if I just sign into company portal and see if it picks it. Okay. Perfect. So this is what I wanted to see. So we have Notepad and Adobe as recently published app. Let's see all the apps. So in our apps, Notepad and Adobe. So as the user, I can go in now and install these apps if I want them because we made them available. Let me see, install. We already have Notepad anyways. So that's the same way we'll be able to install the other application. Adobe can also be installed. Okay, so that's just it. So for the apps that are available, right? This is how you install them directly from the company portal. You have to have the company portal installed to be able to download available. So most times, if you want to manage devices and manage required and available, what admins will do is set company portal as required so that that one installs automatically. And then the ones they want users to go in and pick up themselves, they make it available. So they can either go in and start selecting like that. So that's something I think you can also cultivate. So that's that. Let's see. I want to open a YouTube channel for those of us that have not seen it. Let me look for the app. Let's see if it takes us directly there. Nigerian M365 channel. Oh, why not? No. All right. So I think it's bringing us here. Accept all. Yeah. So this is our channel. So as you can see, every of our videos, programs, the mentorship program. This is the deep dive session. We have this session as well, 2025. So every program, everything you need to find are all in this channel. For example, this session, like I mentioned, the first session, second session, and everything, they are all available right here. So for those of us that have missed the previous session, you can always go back and see this. So that's that for our application deployment. Think we've had a good run. Is that correct, guys? I've eaten about 22 minutes of it. So sorry, I apologize. But I don't know if there are no questions. I think we can just call it a night or a day, and then we'll continue in our next session. Thank you guys for being a very, very engaging audience. All right,
Thank you very
Rafia.
much, sir.
Thank you, Moses. So, Michael, like I said, let's connect to. I can already see some people that are ready to debug. You can also connect to Moses, Sheon, Opeyemi as well. Let's see if we can get on a call and tweak some things for you. And if there's anyone that wants to also be a part of that call, it's going to be offline, obviously. You can also let us know. Let's debug Michael's autopilot. All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Over to you, Rafia. All right. So Ridwan is also interested. Yes, let's take notes. Akwemi, thank you to. Yes, so just so you guys know, Akwemi is also a mentor in the community. It's one of our guys. All right, Muideen. Oh, Muideen, it's been a moment. How are you doing? Can you create some playlist for the YouTube channel to aid our learning? Playlist, please. Yeah, I think if you go to that, there's a particular playlist for it. Just have to go to, where is it now? I want to go to that link now.
I think I posted the playlist on this.
Yes. Apparently posted it. So it just takes it directly. So this is the playlist. Deep dive session. Just look for the Microsoft 365 deep dive session 2026. That's the playlist. And there are also other sessions that are very, very. This 2025 session was the SharePoint. So if you need to also understand SharePoint, it was a very, very extensive session last year as well. All right, guys. Thank you. I think Rafia is not on. Okay, so it looks like everyone is becoming interested in this session now. Michael, what do we do? Okay, so let's take it to WhatsApp. I'll be able to track those of us and we can find some time to look at it. If you don't mind, Michael, because like I said, this is private information or personal information and shouldn't be all out anyways. But if you don't mind, I think I want to have everyone and then we can look at it.